Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 1 of Na'Vi versus Winstrike. As we get ourselves straight into the action, let's give you a little bit of a lowdown on who's playing what on both of the sides. Over on the side of Winstrike, we have Mr. Railbull playing the Doom. He's going to be starting up towards the top lane. Well, of course, no, he's going to be mid. He's going to be mid by the looks of it with full tango, so we're going to have him starting off there. Jakalis making the moves, seeing which sort of lane setup he wants to find himself in, heading up there probably to join forces with Aggressive Child on the carry Jug. Because that means that down bottom on Winstrike, we're going to have Yamich playing the Enigma. He's going to probably take away a creep or two, get this lane into a good position for DK Focus on the off-lane Timber. So over on the side of Na'Vi, we've got Roger making the moves on the Tusk. As always want to fly, his support partner on the Phoenix. And then, of course, mid lane, Iceberg Lina. It's a classic. We'll see how it works out for him. Top lane, always want to fly is going to be joining up with General. We've seen them do this before, Na'Vi. It's been pretty terrifying. General, pretty damn strong on the old Mars. And, of course, last but not least, Vincere will be playing the carry Drow. Fog is having some technical issues at the moment, so I'm afraid you are stuck with just me. I'll try and do my best to say things entertaining and also smart, but it's probably not going to work out. So let's forget the smart stuff and let's just have a bit of a laugh. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of action between these two teams. Very interested to see how some of these side lanes go. Bottom lane, Drow and the Tusk. What do we reckon about this? Well, Drow, you got the Frost Arrows. You don't really care too much about the Timber because he tries to step forward. You're going to start punching him with the Orb walking. So we'll see early on Vincere probably hold his own quite nicely. Whilst the two supports play around with each other. Roger and Yamich chasing after one another in the jungle. The mid lane, what do we have here? Iceberg, he's against a melee hero. You know what they say, if you're playing Lina, use LSA. And if he's able to land stuns with the Light Strike, and once he's got it skilled, at the moment he's gone for the first 2 points in Dragon Slave and the passive just to secure CS and have sort of the safe arrest. But you can imagine if he does take a point in that stun, Relbull's going to have to be a little careful on the mid-team every time he steps up for the creep wave. Top lane, as the panel sort of talked about, got to agree with QO. We're seeing Jug picked a lot into Mars, but most of the time, Blade Fury just isn't long enough and high enough damage to kill off a Mars. And that's always a worry. You try and go in on this Mars, he's able to turn and take you out. Mid lane, Iceberg, as soon as he hits the level 3, he's in. The stun is there, and that's the Doom out of the lane. This mid lane, I don't think it's going to get any easier for the Doom. No, I do not. Iceberg Lina definitely one to be scared about. Of course, Doom still going to be able to farm regardless. Doesn't matter, a death or two here. He's going to be able to catch up. But of course, what it does mean is that Iceberg's going to get some very nice XP early on. And this level 6 is going to come out at a time that will mean that the side lanes have got to be very prepared for an incredibly strong Lina moving around if Iceberg continues to have such a good start here in the mid matchup. So yeah, so far on the side lanes, who's missing out the most? As expected, bottom lane, DK, he's having struggles. You know, you're against a Drow, it's just not fun. Vincere just consistently beating him away with the Frost Arrows. You see on the CS, 11 for 6 on the Drow compared to the 6 for 1 on Timber. Vincere's off to a great time. And I don't see it getting any harder anytime soon because Winstrike, they have gone for that bit of a greed. Obviously running the Enigma, he's not around all the time to help out. Enchantress, it's going to be a kill. See if they can always want to fly in return. Aggressive Child's chasing. He's got the movement speed. We've got 305 against the 280. Does actually have the movement advantage, but doesn't want to waste any more time away from the creep wave. Problem is, he's already wasted quite a bit of time away from the creep wave. He's only got 8 CS at the moment, this Jug, compared to General's 13 for 9. I think it's pretty fair to say, ladies and gentlemen, that 3 minutes in, Na'Vi, they've won every single lane. We're just 3 minutes in, but you're seeing it already on the CS. It's not looking great for Winstrike. They've got to find some sort of way to make one of these lanes better. I don't know if they're going to have the opportunity to do so. They're running an Enigma who's hitting the jungle. They're a man down in the lanes. What sort of moves can you make? I don't think you can make any. This Enigma's not going to want to step away from his jungle creeps. Even Railbull, you know, he's going to be resorted to looking towards the jungle as well. As this mid lane's, it's not going to be any more fun for him once this 6 is online for Iceberg. And Iceberg, he's only a few waves away from it. You see this level 5 Lina against one, just turning level 4 now, dude, but already just a big XP difference. Top lane, what? Impetus from Jakalis will finish off Always Want to Fly. So Winstrike are able to get finally some sort of kill out of these lanes. 4-minute rune coming into play. Roger, he's going to look to mark up the bottom one. It is a double damage. Should be able to hold Railbull on the high ground long enough for Iceberg to head over, get that bottle refill. So now Iceberg, he's got a lot of power in this mid lane. Railbull definitely needing to be cautious with this DD ready to blow in Iceberg's bottle. top. Okay, well, we can do. I'm hearing word that we can get a mystery member in. I mean, if you're able to wire him through, we can get him on the line. No problem at all. So don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. You may not be stuck with just me for much longer. We might be able to get a +1. And hello, am I still speaking to myself, or is there somebody else with me?
Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Oh, hello, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Danog. Give him a clap. He's joining us on the cast. Danog, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I know you mentioned before that we can, just with you casting, it's not going to be all that smart, but I think with me, it's not going to change all that much. So we'll go into it. They're getting pretty aggressive up here on General on the top side.
Oh, they are, yeah. Throwing in with the Blade Fury, but General's able to turn it. Whoa, where was that spear going? It certainly wasn't going toward the Jug. General with a bit of a panic play, but he does live. Pops the Fairy Fire in the south. He's going to be good to go. In fact, he's trying to chase for Ducalis. Oh, this Enchantress has got to run. Oh, my goodness. We're having some fresh meat tonight there. As General just destroys the old deer.
Just cops it right in the face.
This evening.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That was terrifying. And oh, Iceberg, he's making the moves. And he's going to be able to do that every single time. Already, this Timber was off to a bit of a rough start down bottom. He's catching up on the CS, but these kills, this XP is going to make Vincere have a very nice time down here. I mean, what do you sort of reckon about the opening so far here?
Well,
Danog, what sort of Winstrike's best way of sort of slowing this down? Or is this just expected when they're running the Enigma?
I think it's a little bit expected, but at the end of the day, they were losing all 3 lanes. I think they might have tried to at least salvage one of them, but Na'Vi did this clever thing where they actually made sure that the Phoenix was up top alongside the Mars so that you could actually contest into the Enchantress. So Tusk really doesn't do all that much against the Ench in the early levels. So good switch around there and punishing them as a result.
Absolutely. 6 minutes in, 2K lead for now on Na'Vi. Top lane. Na'Vi, that timing about to be hit too when, as soon as General hits the 6, Ducalis in particular has to be cautious. At least aggressive Charles always going to have ways to play out with Blade Fury. Bottom lane, Vincere is getting dove upon it by DK Fogas, but not enough damage straight up. The Light Strike is off the mark. DK Fogas still looking for Vincere, and he's going to be able to find it. Chakram's in and takes down the Drow. That missed stun from Iceberg, costing the life of the Drow. We'll get DK Fogas in return. As the burst is there with the Laguna. Roger able to help over and help out as well. So taking the Timber down, but a big kill there. Getting that solo kill on the Drow, that's going to give this Timber a big boost. And
I think that's the exact kind of play that they need to be making on Winstrike, right? You've got a Timber Saw. You know you get strong at around this level 5 or so mark. And when you've got an Enigma, you can't just be sitting back passive constantly because you're going to get punished, as they have been so far. Topside, though, there's still a little bit of aggression happening here, and I'm sure that Winstrike would be happy to take that kind of trade, although still not reaching level 6, so he might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Vincere, he's made the move over here as he's able to offer that extra bit of damage to take down Aggressive Child. The micro was attempted by the dead Enchantress, but couldn't quite get the stomp on Vincere in time. So Na'Vi swinging into action, bringing their Drow up to this top side.
Getting a little bit unlucky up there as well. The catapult just had a mind of its own. It ran forward into the tower as opposed to continuing to hit the creep waves. So weren't able to take advantage of the recently acquired level 6 on both the Mars and the Drow and the siege creep to be able to push into the tower. So a little bit unlucky there for Na'Vi.
Yeah, we do see sometimes some of these siege creeps do go a bit haywire. And yeah, that was sort of one of the situations there. I mean, Vincere is instantly going to start moving over towards a different lane now that they can't get the pressure going with that. Bottom lane, Iceberg heads over to relieve the pressure that DK was able to place in with these creeps doubling up against the tower. Iceberg will clean that up, push himself towards the shield set that he's trying to get done.
Oh man, have a look at the net worth though.
Vincere shouldn't have any problem finding farm here.
Just comparing the Tusk and the Juggernaut's farm, he's got absolutely nothing on that top side of the map. So the big wind condition coming through from Winstrike isn't going to be doing all that much for the first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, and I mean, as Fogged always tells me, he's always on about the Jug. He's saying if you're picking this hero, you're not sort of blowing away the enemy lane in the early stages. It's a slow hero to play, a slow carry to recover on. So struggle's definitely going to be there this game for Aggressive Child unless Winstrike can really find something for him to get involved in. But this top lane's hard to play into. General is level 6, of course, ready to drop the arena.
Here come the ultis, though.
Try and go in upon him. See if they can get him with the wraparound. General lays down the arena. The Doom's already down, and with the Blade Fury, is it enough to get General times 4 with the snowball coming in with the black holes there? Yamage with the setup. They roll straight into their Doom. Winstrike big moves to be made and moves that were very much necessary, making sure that this Jug gets involved in a bit more action. Jug does stick around though, and now this damage from Vincere. Aggressive Child, he's trying to turn, he's able to get the Omni Slash off. The bounces, meaning they always want to fly, he will still fall to the damage of Dakalis, but Aggressive Child's going to lose his life for it. Now Vincere, he's going to turn over towards the Enchantress as well, just as at the point where it looked like Winstrike were able to make things happen for the Jug, it ends up going downhill pretty severely, as at the end of the day, it's Vincere on the Drow cleaning up them all.
Living up to his name there, Aggressive Child, just wanted to stay, milk a little bit more out of the wave, and yeah, being punished for it. Even that Enchantress, not quite level 6, so the Drow's able to continue chasing up onto him, punish him effectively. But I did like the rotation coming through from Winstrike. As soon as that Black Hole and Doom was available to be used in conjunction, they made sure to make the biggest use out of it that they could.
Still pressure on Aggressive Child to get himself into this game. Still just crawling around with treads in a circlet. It's not a happy place for the Jug to be this early on. And it's top lane Vincere getting away with quite a bit of damage onto this tier 1 tower. Backup as well from General and Roger. So that if any sort of defense is attempted by Winstrike, they'll be able to take the fight.
You can see they really know their timings as well. This second siege creep has become up onto this top lane. All of the heroes, or at least 2 of them, extra rotate up alongside the Drow Ranger, making sure that she's not going to be vulnerable and super punished. And they just want to take control of the dire side of the map now. They've got the early lead, they won all the lanes. Yes, you had to sacrifice the Enigma, getting a little bit more farm for it, but at the end of the day, you're going to be very happy if you're a Na'Vi fan.
Yeah, this is some big early pressure from Na'Vi. Bottom lane, Winstrike, they will match it though. We're sort of showing up top from Na'Vi. They realise that this bottom lane is a safe spot for the Jug to be. Aggressive Child is able to find that tower in sync with that of the top one falling. So a trade to be found across the map by Winstrike. General, smoke up in the mid, Arcane in the bottle. See if he can get some sort of setup for Iceberg to blow his combo on one of the heroes of Winstrike. Also Vincere joining over as well. Can they get the catch? Dual Scepter's done on Iceberg, so he's going to have solid setup. Already on the side of it, Roger's actually starting to fire onto Yamich. He's buying time for the rest of Na'Vi to swing over. There's Roger. Leads him with a snowball onto Dakalis. Dakalis out of range of the Light Strike though. He's able to step out, not get caught by the stun of Iceberg. The rest of Winstrike all over here now by the tier 2s, making it a little hard for Na'Vi to actually get him for a kill.
Yeah, spending most of that time as well, Vincere, he was positioning himself really well, you know, still close enough to make sure he had an impact at that fight if it did indeed break out, but he just wanted to be able to siege down this mid tier 1 tower as well. Such a valuable tower in the game, and only 12 minutes in, they've already lost 2.
Arena down, but General off the mark with a spear. If that matters though, Dakalis still very squishy. So this high amount of damage that the Drow could kick out, Vincere shoots them down.
Man, it's looking like exactly what Na'Vi would have wanted out of this, right? Like, yes, you're giving up a little bit of farm, a little bit of net worth if you've got this Enigma who he's rushing into the Blink Dagger. So he's realizing that if they're going to be able to take anything out of this, you need to be able to get really aggressive onto that Drow, but this isn't going to help.
But those shards though, Roger finding him in the trees. Big catch from the Tusk. And a kill like that, they're going to step things up to the tier 2. We're just 13 minutes in. This Drow lineup from Na'Vi being played incredibly fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the ways to counter the Doom, right? Like, yes, you can get a couple of early items, but if you're winning the mid lane as well as taking towers, suddenly there's a lot less area on the map for him to be able to play with, and they're probably even going to catch out this Timber Saw with the double damage being popped by Iceberg.
So if they can burst this Timber. DK out with the chain, extra TP's coming in. It's pretty tanky, of course, at this stage with the Hood of Defiance, and in fact, he's out. Goes for the chain of the TP, and he's away before General's able to make any sort of connection. Still just a big catch-up game for Aggressive Child to play. He's 4k net worth, there's 7k net worth on the Drow, a 3k difference between the 2 carries at just 13 minutes in.
And that's the thing, you know, you've got this Timber Saw and I suppose the Doom that want to be frontlining a little bit, but it's not that catch. I think a big part of where the Winstrike can come back into this game is that first Blink Dagger reveal from the Enigma. If he's able to catch out the Drow Ranger and anyone else that's going to be able to interrupt it, because there's a lot, let's be honest, it's going to go a long way towards bringing them back, but it's still such a big risk.
Rail ball down bottom. He's got his eyes on General. They're bringing Takalis over as well. If he can get in for a Doom, he might just be able to do this between the two of them. They're going to drop it. He's into the trees, trying his best to juke this out, but still, Red Bull's able to close the gap from the Infernal Blade. So that extra bit of damage coming out with the Impetus will secure them the kill. They make the move on General. Now the rest of Na'Vi swinging over. Aggressive Child also around for Winstrike. Iceberg, can he find the set? If he's Invis, might be able to get a good stun from the Invis. See if he can find it. No, off the mark. Tries to predict the movement, but he's whiffed it. And now Iceberg's got to run. As they're chasing him down, the slow is there. V-Tune trying to push them back. They'll use the Supernova to stop Winstrike from diving in any further to keep Iceberg safe, and it worked for now. Now with the Supernova ending, DK is ready to go straight back in. It's time. The stun from Iceberg does connect. They're turning, but Yamich is in! He's able to get the black hole on the three of them with the Omni/Yamich! Oh, it's beautiful! Yamich just slams them down, walks in and catches the three, ends up in the four of them dying. What a beautiful move from the Enigma. Plays like that, it's all going to pay off for Winstrike. They go for this draft in these lanes that meant that the Jug was going to suffer. Yamich was in the jungle, but he's come out the jungle and he's making moves like this. General also being bullied right back up to his base. He's got the Glimmer, so we'll be able to survive. The big stuff from the Enigma, and with that, 15 minutes in, Winstrike, they're actually going to be the side that claims the first Tier 2 tower. First
Tier 2 tower, that outpost is claimed at the 16-minute mark, which means that, you have to still play a little bit careful. What a black hole coming through from Yamich. That's exactly the reveal that you were wanting, and Roger just not close enough to be able to get that snowball save onto them. So perfect positioning coming through from Winstrike.
Na'Vi, it's just a little bit of sloppiness. We're seeing some sort of missed spells from Iceberg, some whiff spears from General. Not very characteristic of what we've come to see from these players at this tournament. So definitely seeing if Na'Vi can sort of step it back up to the level that they've been able to bring before. Because so far in this game, that lead is getting dropped down a little bit. Still, V-Tune's game remains solid. They're going to try and step into the pit and take Roshan during this downtime where there's no black hole. And looks to be they will get away with this. Half health on the Roshan. Winstrike not making any quick moves over here. So Na'Vi will be able to get back on and play aggressive with the Aegis in hand for V2.
Yeah, I think that's the exact thing they needed to do, right? They're making the best of a bad situation. They've lost their jungle. Now they need to take out Roshan when you don't have these big ultimates, especially around the Roche pit, which are super impactful. And now they want to take this Tier 2 tower top because you can't just have both jungles inaccessible for yourself, as well as taking this one does open up the Roche pit for future encounters.
Just an excellent early pressure from both teams. Keeping this game close. Winstrike actually the ones to swing ahead off the back of that play down bottom, despite losing Roshan to Na'Vi. And they do have this ever-growing Doom. Red Bull with the phase drums of the BKB, there's not much that can put a stop to him if he goes charging in, looking for a Doom opportunity.
And it just goes to show how such a small mistake can snowball completely out of control as well. That missed Light Strike array on the bottom side could have been the Juggernaut dead. You don't have that turnaround, you don't have the burst damage with the Omni Slash on top of the black hole, but instead it was Winstrike taking the win.
We'll see with the top Tier 2 going down. Na'Vi should be able to make sure at least they do have one of the outposts coming into the 20-minute. V2 TPing back over as aggressive charge, as you say, with the way that Winstrike's been able to take over Na'Vi's jungle. They've got this very safe space for their carries to be farming. DD runes will be found as well. Omni Slash is up. Winstrike would not mind taking a fight at all. Even though Na'Vi's got an Aegis, they know how strong that they can be, Winstrike, if they hit these ultimates, as the black hole is back up right now. So eyes on Yamich to make the big jump happen.
I'm liking this warding as well, done by Winstrike. They know that the Roshan is just taken, so there's no real reason to be playing inside their own jungle. You've got these wards in the tri-camp area as well as mid lane and aggressively where they want to be positioning themselves. So good vision from Winstrike, but Na'Vi honestly can be said to be pretty similar. They've only got the 2 available right now, but I just think they need to get a bit more defensive because Winstrike are going to be wanting to make plays on the Na'Vi side of the map.
See what Iceberg wants to itemize into next after these duels. He's got 2k gold saved in place. If he feels the need to get anything else to keep himself safe, such as the BKB or Who fancies getting some armor online anytime soon. I've got the Gropo picked up on Na'Vi, always a dream find to grab if you have the Drow. I'll see if V2 is going to favour that over the Van Bracer, or if they'll just be happy giving the Gropo to Lina. I guess they've got good stat items, the two of them. The Pupil's gift to the Van Bracer at the moment, but so we'll see if they do fancy the extended range. That's bottom lane. Na'Vi starting to push in. I mean, Winstrike. Do you think at this stage of your Winstrike, you're sort of happy to avoid these pushes, wait out the Aegis, or do you think we could see Winstrike try and go for a jump?
I think you do need to wait at least until they're in a bit more of an inescapable position, like with the Tier 2 tower, for example, if they look to push into that. But, well, he might be overstaying his welcome a little bit here with Rabel. He's getting caught out, pops the BKB, but he's not going to be able to get out.
He's out there. Now that Timber's on the front, there's a lot of damage coming in. There's DK. He'll jump off with the Timber chain. Try and turn to get the Chakramon to always want to fly, but it's going to be off the mark. The Phoenix will be saved. Aggressive Child, meanwhile, able to burst down the Lina, and they can't kill the Timber. So much attention thrown towards the Timber, and it's just not enough. And whilst their focus is there, Lina's left vulnerable.
Yeah, you've still got the Doom available as well, and about a minute, maybe a minute and a half or so left on that Aegis. So I think they can just, stay back, play a bit more defensively, because the timings should match up relatively well with the Enigma and the Juggernaut Omni Slash becoming available one more time. That should be around when the Aegis expires. So I think it's just trying to shove waves out as much as you can right now, so that if Winstrike do look to make that kind of play, that at least you're not losing too many objectives off the back of it.
Dead Enchantress. That's V-Tune picking up easy kills as anyone steps out near this Drow will go down for sure. They're trying to make the move up toward Yamich, but Yamich is out with the Blink Dagger. Well, I'm having word, Danog, that Fogged is back and around. So Danog, I'm going to thank you very much for stepping in, and everybody at home, give Danog a clap for coming in last minute to sort of hold the fort with me and make sure that I don't end up talking to myself and sounding like an idiot. So thanks, Danog. I'm going to let you have a nice break until the panel.
No worries. I'm going to eat my dinner. See you from the panel.
A legend. Thank you very much, Danog. See you around. And Fogged.
Hello.
Are you here?
Is it working? Can you hear me?
Fogged. Fogged.
Owen, do you hear me?
Hello? Yes, I can. You're very quiet.
See, Owen might not hear me right now.
I
hope that the people
Fogged.
can.
Can the people hear Fogged? They can. Right.
That's good. Now maybe you can hear me. I raised myself for you too a little bit more.
We're good to go. I can hit Fogged. How are you doing? It's pretty close. It's pretty crazy. It's 12-12. 3K lead for Winstrike right now. Na'Vi showed a good start. But Winstrike, they're making some big plays, and the Enigma seems to be paying off.
With that Phoenix ult, I feel like they, especially when they have a hero like Lina in this game, I feel like they have to be setting that tempo. Even though they're versus like this Timber and these Jug, these kind of mid-game carries, there's this Doom and this Enigma that breaks stuff.
Yep. It's knocked down onto Yamich. For most part, still, if they are able to make these jumps onto the Enigma and take him out, it does heavily weaken the team fight potential of Winstrike. It gives Na'Vi these potential to sort of just shove down lanes without the Warrior of Winstrike trying to jump him.
Yeah, nice heads-up move, trying to take advantage of that Black Hole being on cooldown. Immediately we see Winstrike, they're pushing the side lanes, not addressing mid, trying to get as much as they can out of this downtime of not having their Enigma. Didn't get to see what I just jumped into this one. I'm just going to see what Aggressive Child is building toward in here, and it's okay. Pretty lacking of damage on this Jug, but I don't think he wants that. I think he just wants that survivability and just ways to get on top of the Drow.
This is gonna, it's gonna give him a lot of stats. It does mean that if he does get caught by General coming in and catching him with the spear, there's more than enough solid chance for him to stay alive. And just stats across the board. Even a little bit of Agi helping him out, have a bit of extra armor. But I mean, the Drow, of course, still able to shred him if they do manage to sort of trip him up, and nothing to remove the silence, the gust. So Aggressive Child will need to be careful. Perhaps he's going to have some teammates building him some defensive measures eventually, maybe even DK on the Timber Saw, going for the Halberd next, but after that we might see something like the Lotus Saw come into play.
Yeah, Lotus and Halberd. I mean, even the Scotty's so valuable this game. You're versus these, two ranged carries, the Lina as well as that Drow Ranger. Lina maybe not so much of the right clicker, but that extra Scotty effect's still gonna show if he does go for it. But he actually switches it to the Bastion for now.
Okay.
We'll see Na'Vi. They're looking to push out their lanes here. Still a lot of downtime. I feel like Winstrike, they're fine with all. I think both teams are kind of okay with downtime because of these big cooldowns that they both have.
Well, CD. The players from Roger can now certainly come out. That blink dagger done makes all the difference, especially when playing against the threat of the Enigma. See if Roger's able to come in with some clutch saves, pull people out to the side, out to safety. And yeah, that Basher done. So these combos, Yamich, if he does get a black hole and the follow-ups there from the Jug, the Doom, and the Timber, Na'Vi are going to certainly struggle against that sort of damage at this stage. And yeah, Halberd done on Relball, so already getting multiple ways to make this game very hard for V-Tune's Drow to do the job.
This is some interesting positioning right here by Ducalis. All right, right in the middle of the whole team. Nobody
Look at that. I mean, the information he's given. He's given it all. Plant a sentry, stand next to it in the invis. You know they can't get you. They're not going to look for you.
Oh, and he gets the courier too, and he's going to TP out. Very nicely done. So he's going to be able to scout all the movement here from Na'Vi. And initiation does feel like it's going to be pretty huge here. Always want to fly spotted.
Oh, they've got Yamich. Straight away again, they're able to take out the Enigma before the fight really kicks off. The rest of them starting to run away. Winstrike. Na'Vi, every time they catch that Yamich Enigma, it makes it very hard for Winstrike to try and push a fight.
It's an easy way to catch you. They didn't have to commit anything when they get that kill, so it's very scary for Winstrike to look to try to fight. Pretty hard for Winstrike to ever start fights, actually. They kind of have to really hope that there's people kind of out of position here. I feel like Na'Vi, for the most part in this game, should always be the ones starting the fight, which looks really good for them, because this Drow is always going to be able to pick and choose her targets in the back.
Ooh!
Oh, God, that was close.
Top. Iceberg in general trying to find that Doom on the TP out, but Relball out and away just in time before those spells came in. Yeah, time has been bought. Yamich, he's back in the game. And also very close to having that BKB. In fact, it's done. So BKB and Blink there on the Enigma. Yamich is going to be ready for the big moves.
Has to watch out about just straight physical damage right now, I think. Or just the burst from the Lina. That Aghanim is finished up.
Oh, and again,
he's spotted again.
Every single time they're finding Yamich. It's making it very hard for Winstrike to try and force a fight. Winstrike might still try and do something here, though. They're looking towards the Phoenix. Always want to fly off to the side. He will still live. Gets the Supernova off in time just before Relball's able to come in, and Relball won't get caught by the shards. Two speedies. He steps out before Roger's able to get a grab on him. Over to the side, though. Timber focusing him down. Yule's set up there. They're looking for the angle. Light strike and the burst. That'll do it again. Na'Vi. I mean, we're seeing it sort of 3 times in a row. Yamich is the one to die first. And it definitely feels like sort of the game plan for Winstrike crumbles. They lose this Enigma, and they look pretty helpless in the team fights.
Yeah, just no real ways to just start the fight. And Na'Vi, they have so many clear different ways. With the Lina, with the Tusk, with the Mars, it's a lot easier for them to just get this one going. And now Bogus, like, this Timbersaw, he's not as strong as you usually are in these at these points of the game. This is when you start to fall off. This Drow hits real hard.
Yeah.
They need some toys to cause chaos in the front so that the Doom and the Enigma can do their job and try to get onto these targets. But yeah,
he's just about to hit even harder. V-Tune, 200 gold, and the full Daedalus is on its way out to him.
Oh, God.
Na'Vi. Roshan now for the taking, but Winstrike, they're heading over. They could get a big blink. Black King Bar, Black Hole, they could do this here. Let's see if they can do it. Can they get the jump? They're already starting to push them out. Yamich looking for the jump. Gonna hold off for it for now, as General's just gonna fall on the front, then taking away the Mars. Buyback immediately. General does not want to let this Roche go to Winstrike. Yamich is in perfect position, hiding under the cover of the smoke.
They're gonna try to wrap around, find General, and always want to fly. If they can catch these 2 initiators, it could be huge for them.
Charles just gonna start finishing off the Roche. Na'Vi, are they gonna be able to push him back out? The question here as they jump in, but the Roche is down and aggressive child is playing the Aegis. They've got it here, Winstrike, and now they can look to try and clean up the kills. Malif is down onto General. General's dead, he's dead for 70. Bichu trying to hold his ground. Once he gets focused, Yamich jumps in. He's got the black hole and the Omni Slash committed down onto the Drow. 2 dead, make that 3 with a Supernova getting popped by Winstrike. As Winstrike get the Roshan. They actually get 4 as well, with Roger going down outside of the pit. Winstrike pushing Na'Vi away. And 3 heroes now dead without buyback. Winstrike, they can push him with this Aegis. They can get a lot of damage done.
very nice way that they took that team fight. Rather than just like forcing it straight into the pit, they get a nice wraparound. They get General the one time, make the buyback happen, get him again. Then you break that initiation. Then you actually have your own forms of being able to just jump in and lead the charge. They did that without Doom. It's a pretty big thing too. He's going to be able to have it now for the next engagement. And the Black Hole, at that point, it's just easy to land. He just jumps and they use everything on the Drow Ranger when she's isolated. Winstrike showing up to the fight around that Roche pit.
Now we'll see how much Winstrike can get done. You know, the sort of the crucial time as being that 55 seconds no Drow and 45 pretty much without the Mars. And should be able to find at least a tier 2 out of this. And yeah, the mid lane, you know, the Timber's bringing it in, so DK Fogas will set up for potentially a second tier 2. So lots of things that they'll be able to take in. If you look at some of the item progression, it's going to help push Rebel pretty close to the AC. Shadow Blade for Yamich is what he's going for, and over on Aggressive Child, still yet to see what his next item is going to be after the Basher. I mean, does he sort of buy something to fill out the slot once the Aegis is gone, or would you be kind of fine with him just upgrading to the full Abyssal at this stage?
I think the Scotty or the Abyssal are fine. Scotty or Abyssal seem fine to me, yeah. Both fit exactly what he wants to go for this game, just gap closer, just a little bit tankiness.
Here we go, Dakalis back in action. As we'll see how much Winstrike get done with this one. Actually, looking at the queue for Aggressive Child, he's going to set his sights on the Nullifier for what he wants to try for. And these towers, he's pretty much going to have the money for the Relic.
Okay, I mean, that's
very close to it.
It's always so good versus those defensive items. It is always going to be great versus like the Glimmers, versus your Yule Scepters, etc. So if he does Omni anyone with Nullifier, they're 90% of the time he's going to die to it.
Oh yeah, Aggressive Child, he can commit on one and not sort of rely on Yamich's Black Hole to lock down the same target to stop them from saving themselves. You know, Yamich can pick on someone else. Nice, yeah, mid will be pressured a little bit, but the respawns are coming in. So Winstrike will back off, but they're happy with this. They're able to still play with the Aegis, and they did get that tier 2 tower on the top lane.
And they held Doom the whole time. Rebel, he's still going to have it. Enigma Black Hole is going to be coming up at a pretty decent time too. Let's see what Na'Vi does. There's a lot of time spent dead to give these ultimates time to come back up. Still 100 seconds for that big black hole that we did see from before, but with this Aegis, they have a much easier window of just sitting back and farming and forcing Na'Vi to make moves, where Na'Vi can make these mistakes now, because General, he's fallen off pretty hard in these last few moments from that dieback. Quite a ways away from that BKB. And
they're going to try for a smoke.
This is that forced issue. You know, they want to make that move because that black hole is down. Let's see if Winstrike's prepared.
Fuel for my fire.
Let's see if they can jump. I mean, DK Fogas at this stage is very tanky on the Timber. Can they burst him? There they go. Able to dodge the stun here with the Yule Scepter. Still gets put the tree by the spin. They've got the damage from V-Tune. Alright, anytime the V-Tune's around and Laguna's up, they're sort of the two big damage sources that will burst the Timber regardless of his items.
I feel like I've seen that a few times this tournament, where they're running away from the neutral camp and then they're like, oh no, a neutral item drops, and they need to go back to try to recover it and die for it. Na'Vi, with this base, they take out the big frontliner. They're actually going to be able to high ground here.
They've got to be a little cautious though, you know, Yamich, well, 30 seconds to the Black Hole, so they'll definitely be having that in mind.
Did you point that out, actually? V-Tune has has a cheese actually in his bags. They were actually able to recover the cheese from the Aegis, or from the Rush. That's pretty huge. Might actually be able to give him enough to like top off, maybe in between some Omni Slash hits or something like that. This could make a difference.
Yeah, you're right. You know, that combined with the Manta and the Hurricane Pike, as long as he's got them available to pop them off cooldown, yeah, he's no longer a straight up Omni target for Aggressive Child unless there's some sort of further stun on him. Mid lane, good stomp here from Rebel, catches him post dive attempt. There's always want to fly. Will continue to try and run. Aggressive Child trying to commit. But always want to fly, actually speedy enough to get away from them all. And they don't fully chase. They do know Supernova's up and ready. So not trying too hard to kill that Phoenix for now. They're still happy to sit back, Winstrike. They've still got time to decide when they want to move with this Aegis. And Aggressive Child, he's just 350 gold away from having the completed nullifier. Na'Vi, though, they're smoked up and ready to move. This time it will be into the big ults of Winstrike. Winstrike have got everything available, so
and
now the move becomes a lot harder for Na'Vi.
Arcane Ruin on the Enigma as well, so
yeah.
If he does land one, they're going to have it at a much better rate in the next situation. But they have a lot of gold saved up on the side of Winstrike. They actually have, like, what, 10,000 gold split up amongst their heroes. Unspent at the moment. Na'Vi also has some gold unspent, but not the same level. As the wraparound here.
Yeah, both teams. I mean, Winstrike playing very carefully, trying to keep themselves up on this high ground where they do have ward coverage. Aggressive Child taking a poke. They can still afford to have him on the front lines with this moment of Aegis still in the game. Nice creep wave. Now getting the relic done. And the nullifier will be on its way over towards him. And now a very, very scary Jug. Have to be careful of Aggressive Child getting the successful jump in with the Omni Slash.
It will make him a bit weaker though, because now, because he went for this, he doesn't have all these crazy stats or anything like that. It's a really strong item just for straight up damage and for killing people, but it gives you no defensive capability. It'll make him a little bit more limited as well on like the mana pool. The Jug, you know, you only have like a 600 mana pool. Your spells are fairly expensive inside the midst of the fights, also with all your items too. But yeah, Aegis reclaimed, Na'Vi able to hold and not really lose much of anything during that time.
Still this, it's a bit of a standoff around this tier 2.
They're too scared to commit because Na'Vi has they both are in like the very favorable positions for themselves. Na'Vi's got the high ground on the left, Winstrike has the tree coverage and the high ground a little bit on the right side. And they know they're squishy, that's the thing too. It's like even DK Focus, if he steps up a little too far, he gets speared in and can just die.
Doesn't get the spear connection to the tower, but they do have to use the stun. Have they got the burst? They try with the Laguna. Mori shows out. He's able to save himself some time with the self-fuels. He's trapped in the arena though, and they've got the damage to take him onto the side. Relbal, the damage from this Drow is so much. Relbal's trying to run, but look at these hits from Vincere. It takes him out. The Supernova's there. The light strikes out onto Aggressive Child. The jump's gone down. Na'Vi making quick moves. As Winstrike just hanging around, I guess just a little too long, and they've also found Dakalis. The light strikes out, they'll burst down another, they'll get 4 kills, Na'Vi. As just a bit too overconfident with the Timber on the front lines. I mean, we've seen it before, but they have to really respect just how much damage comes out from Na'Vi with this Axe build on the Lina, and the fact that you have this Drow, of course, with the marksmanship. These heroes just, with these capabilities, they don't care about your defensive items. They will shred through anybody that's on the front lines.
And it's like the way that the fight ended up coming out, it's like Winstrike actually just walked in. V2 is in literally the most perfect positioning. He's literally just hitting people from a mile away. No one can get on top of him. Great initiation coming out from General this time around.
And now they're going to lose a Rax. This mid Rax is gone. V2 steps up.
And it's a full butterfly.
Creeps moving in on the top there. They're going to be out of pressure for a second hit.
And this Drow is now enormous as she now takes out those buildings. And now you have a nullifier instead of having an MKB. So this Drow now is very happy. She has that butterfly to deal with the Jug as well.
Many big black holes here from Yamich.
Dire's top tower has
Get the tower, Na'Vi. Do they want to stick around? Roger. Starting to hunt into the trees a bit. Gets the ward down as well.
They'll give respect to it, Na'Vi. Don't want to be on the low ground versus that team still. Then that gives Winstrike a lot easier ways to actually access and initiate the team fights, where Na'Vi, it just seems like they still just have a much better initiation. Unless it's just like in the midfield around a Roshan, and that's where Winstrike can actually look to fight. Na'Vi, they always seem to be able to have just a little bit better with General in that front line. He's just safer. Both Rebel as well as the Timber, they look like creeps when the Drow starts wailing on them. They only have, look at this Doom. You know, even with like the AC, even though it's bugged out, it only says the 5+4. He's actually at 5+14. He's still fairly squishy. I wonder why armored things are doing that lately. I've been noticing those a lot.
I think it's just visual because on mine I see it properly.
You see it, okay, all right.
And I think the stream probably does. Yeah, 5+19 on my screen.
Oh, 5+, okay, yeah, +19. Sorry, yeah, I only see 5+4.
Okay, it's a feature, it's a climb.
It's a feature.
It's just to make sure that you're kept on your toes and you're actually doing the maths and watching,
Yeah, I saw the other day too, like the Deso effect or something wasn't going off, but the damage was. I don't know.
Yeah, I think most of the time it is happening. It's just a visual sort of a minor glitch.
Navi, they get space to be able to push out their lanes nicely and straight into a rush. It's dead. That's the Aegis, the Cheese, and the Refresher Shard.
Oh, Refresher Shard for Iceberg. He's ready with those double Lagunas. I mean, a couple of those and goodbye to anybody.
Then you may not have a BKB canceling black hole thing, but you can just double Laguna him, and that kind of works as well.
I mean, yeah, like that literally kills him. I mean, how much is the damage? That was 900 pure damage. Times that by 2. That's I'm joking. Anyways, it's 1800. 11% spell amp on that though. You could do the maths on that one.
Dire's top barracks are under
He'll die. He's only 1600 HP, so he will die. He will take about 2000 pure damage or more.
He'll die. Jug will nearly die. Timber will kind of nearly die. Doom will kind of nearly die. Enchantress will die twice, probably. Top lane, V2 stepping up, getting some damage in on this Rax. Winstrike, how are they going to be able to push him away? Get through that Aegis. They do try to.
It's just how can they form initiation? Like look at the positioning of Navi. Like always want to fly. He's level 18 now too. This Phoenix, this Mars, they can counter initiate on the back line if Enigma does look to go for a black hole, and they're into this Aegis. So it's
was going to start thing Yamage. He's moving in, but he can't find the initial black hole opportunity. Roger's going to be jumping over on towards him, forcing back the Enigma as V2 just destroys the Doom. If they don't jump this Drow, V2 is literally going to kill everybody.
And Mars, General just buys right back. Like, good job. You know, your Doom was used. Now I still have my ulti up to come back into the fight here and guard V-Tune.
And they're able to just take the racks like that. There just seems to be no stopping this Drow right now. Yamage is trying his best to find these jumps, these sort of black holes, but it's hard. Navi's playing very smart about it, and each time that Yamage shows, Roger just sort of throwing himself at the Enigma to make sure that Yamage just gets no chance to reposition himself.
It's so difficult for him. Like, even if he has the chaos going on in the front lines now because of all these different items that have picked up, like we said, I mean, he can just get Laguna in just a couple right clicks. He actually has to get, it feels like a 3-man black hole for him to actually survive during it. Or for it to actually do its lethal damage. Because, you know, you need to get General, you probably need to get the Lina, you probably need to get the Drow, because otherwise General just, you know, blinks into the back and just covers everybody. And it's an Aegis too, so it's really hard for Winstrike to pick and choose their fight right here. Navi just keep forcing that issue in.
Yep, looking to clean up the third and final setup with bottom lane Iceberg. Just bringing the creeps around.
V-Tune is massive, like, in these last few moments. The butterfly finished, he has another 7,000 gold on him too. Uh-oh. They're trying to finish a big item here. I see the Jug, they're just trying to push out their lanes as much as possible, but I think they do need, yeah, the MKB definitely really needed on the Jug, and they need to just kind of wait. They need to try to stall for this Aegis to time out. It's a huge problem when they have Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, when it sort of comes to Jug, do you think he's regretting the Nullifier item a bit? Do you think maybe when he bought that, he felt that they were further ahead than they actually were?
I probably. It actually ends up being something that didn't help him at all. It didn't have any use. But I don't know if any item would have really just changed that, right? Like, I don't know if him having anything else would have just changed it straight up.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hard game now for him. I mean, you just consider the difference between their cores and the farm that Iceberg and V2 have. They do get the jump on V2. Take him down the once. Can they do it again? We'll see what they want to commit for it. So the Supernova will get the coverage to stop any sort of black hole coming in over the respawn. Yamage stepping back and fighting into that, of course. But they do get the Aegis, so it's part of Na'Vi's push taken away from them.
They didn't have to commit anything big either for that Aegis kill, but Na'Vi does, you know, now they go back and they're able to spend that, I don't even know how much gold they had, I think 15,000+ across 3 or 4 heroes. V2 actually doesn't finish up, he's saving the buyback just in case. He doesn't buy that point booster to get the Scotty yet.
I think that's pretty understandable at this point. I mean, they are ahead, Na'Vi, but still a pretty good push from Winstrike can come out between this Jug and Enigma.
And they're also level 25, so that death, you know, it's 100 seconds. You don't want to be taken out for that long. They're actually going to swing toward top. Maybe look for the Winstrike heroes that are going to look to push this lane out, because this is double catapult coming in. Winstrike is going to have to address these side lanes as well. Might actually work. Let's see how patient Na'Vi is, waiting for somebody up there. And who's going to fall for it? Are they going to be patient enough, though? With the iceberg?
I mean,
Considering
Winstrike, is a fight outside of their base going to be their best sort of route to go down? Like, when it actually comes to trying to get a solid jump from the high ground with this Enigma, is it getting to the point where you do have to go for some sort of smoke and move out and catch them from behind, otherwise you're never going to get the jump from the high ground?
I feel like it's too hard to fight outside because of how massive they are now. I think they just have to hope for the high ground defense. It's weird, but like you just have to at this point in the game because you're so at this big of a deficit.
Yeah, and as you said, it's just there's no sort of easy black hole sort of target, right? There's just so many things you have to take into account now at this stage for Yamich. He's got to hit something pretty perfect. His mid lane, General. Spear off the mark onto DK Fogas as DK is going to live. He's able to chain out to the side. Roger will catch up the snowball. Supernova down. Winstrike will have to step away from it. They don't have the means to take it out. What? Hey! There's double Laguna from Iceberg. A couple of those. The Jug says bye-bye. As he goes down, she's on General, keeping him alive. Vincere trying to cover him up, but General's able to step away. Pots the BKB and the Fairy Fire, and he's fine.
The Doom is out.
Yeah, it was not the cheese, it was a bit of the old green stuff. The Fairy Fire keeps him alive. Now, backing onto aggressive Child, Roger. With the snowball heading over. General able to jump in onto Dekalis. Nukes down the Enchantress. Omni Slash is coming out between Always Want to Fly and Vincere, but the damage is incredibly underwhelming. The Jug not able to finish him off, as that is a dead Jug for 110 seconds. Aggressive Child is out. General trapping Emerald inside the arena. B-Tune, he's just cleaning it up with ease. CG is called. Na'Vi will take this game one. Winstrike in the sort of the mid-game, it did start to seem like they were able to swing this around, get the game under their control. But then just never really an opportunity